This is a chess game that was played at the London Third Chess Classic at 2011. Okay, it was played between David Howell as black and Vladimir Kremnik as white. And at the move 19 of the game, white has done the move rook a to c1. And after this, black, David, has made a mistake. He made the move bishop to c6. And my exercise to begin the video with for you is sit down and try to understand why is this considered a blunder by the computer, and this ended up making black at the end of the game resign. If I'm just going to show you the end of the game, okay, from this move after here, as you see, black had just resigned here, okay? My little task for you to begin this video with is to understand why is bishop from b7 to c6 is a blunder. And remember, this is a game played by two GMs, very strong GMs as well. So that's the thing I want to start with this video of the less spoken ways to improve at chess. If you can understand this, you're going to have a very easy time to level up if you're just starting at the game. But first, let me tell you the short story of how I started to improve at chess, because you're probably stuck as a beginner between the 800 to 1200 elo levels, and I was there as well, because for a long time, for the half a year to a year almost, I've had no sense of direction in what I needed to do at the game to improve. And so I understand the feeling of having no direction when you're playing chess, because it's like you're watching all of these videos, all the information, you're trying to learn all of it at the same time, and what happens is that you're getting into a game and you're still making one move blunders. And so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to delve extremely deep into the one thing that is super important, whether you're a beginner or intermediate player. That affected me when I was both, which is to prevent yourself from making those one movers that end up ruining the whole game. That's what we're going to go over in this video. So let's start. Here we have this position for our first exercise for this video, and let me show you something. The main thing that we're going to cover in this video, the most important thing as a beginner and intermediate, is just to decrease the amount of times that you blunder. Honestly, a lot of the intermediate beginner players are just doing this, so if you could improve just the accuracy of your play, that's a very easier way to improve. So we're gonna go through that here. So here, white has done the move king to g2 from g1 to f2, and then black made a blunder. He made rook to f4. Now, what I want you to do is stop the video and ask yourself, why is rook to f4 a blunder? And I'm gonna say this right now. The reason that the move rook to f4 is a blunder, and before that they were relatively in equal position, white had a slight advantage, but the reason that rook to f4 is a blunder is because that allows white to do a move like king to e3, okay, which is now blocking for your king, which somehow got here these three squares, and it is very easy for white to do later on a checkmate. Okay, so you are forced to now give up your own rook in order to actually survive. Here actually black had not done this thing and, well, got checkmated, and that is from the actual game itself. And again, it was played by two beginners, so we're going to forgive them, but that is very important to understand. You need to decrease this thing in order to improve as a beginner. How do you actually come to understand that moves like rook from f8 to f4 are blunders? First of all, you're asking yourself what is possible that my opponent will do. That's the first thing. What can they do? They can move here. Well, they cannot do this yet, but after this they can. This is the problem. Okay, you're asking yourself those questions, and then it becomes easier. Now, the easiest way to actually recognize if the move that you had in mind is a blunder is you're asking yourself three question checklist before the moves that you make. And that is by far the easiest way to understand if you're blundering or not with that move. And the easiest way to actually recognize blunders like this is there's a 3-question checklist that you're going to ask yourself before every game that you play, which is going to make it a lot easier for you to recognize the blunders like rook 2 from f8 to f1. Okay, and so the 3 questions are: is my king safe, what is under threat, and what can be captured? And so let's start with the third one. What can be captured? At this move, nothing could be captured, okay? The rook here is not yet going to get captured. It could in the future, but not now. What is under threat? My king. My king, why? 2 rooks are aiming straight down at it, and it's cut completely from the rook and the other rook. So that is our first problem that we need to address. So is my king safe? No. We need to figure out, first of all, how to solve this. So by now we have done what can be captured, which we have figured out that this rook could be captured, and what is is my king safe? And now what is under threat? Again, my king is the only thing which is at the moment under threat. If the king is under threat, you need to leave everything, and I mean everything, in order to figure out how to solve this. Because if you're then doing a move like, if I'm doing a move like king to e3, it's very, very difficult now to figure out how to protect the king, because every move you have to do revolves around leaving material behind. You have to do either rook e4 or rook to c8, which is a bit worse. And rook to c8 prevents from moving a rook here. Rook here, you're giving a check, so it has to correspond to that. From there on, it's very easy to decrease the amount of blunders that you're making, because you're asking yourself 3 questions that are very, very important. Is my king safe? What is under threat? And what can be captured? And so that's the motive of this video. If you would have asked yourself, is my king safe? You wouldn't have done now a move like rook to f4. You would have tried to defend it otherwise. Now let's move to the next example. Okay, so here we have another example where one of the sides makes a blunder, and in here white has made a blunder. Pawn takes to d5, okay? Pawn here, but this bishop is of course under threat. So again, try to figure out else why is this a blunder, because here of course you can move back. So you're asking yourself I hope that you've first of all paused the video, but you're asking yourself the 3-question process, and you realize what is under threat. What is under threat on the board is my queen and this bishop, okay? My queen and the enemy bishop, if I'm black, okay? Now, what can be captured? Well, I can capture this, of course, but they can also capture my queen. And then you're asking yourself, is the king safe? Are the kings on g1 and the king on e8 safe? My king on e8 is quite safe, but you realize that for the king on g1, the white king, as black, you can do, as black, for this king, you can do the move queen to g4. Queen to g4, you're threatening mate, and you're also threatening the bishop, okay? And that is the big danger with this 3-question process, because then you realize moves like queen to g4, which in the game, neither of the sides have realized that this is a possibility. Here you end up, you need to defend in some way, and then you're gonna lose this bishop one way or the other. Let's now move to the next example in this video. Okay, so in this position, in our last position for this video, what we have is we have a slightly quite equal position. Then after this, black had made a miss. Okay, this is a miss because computer really likes him just moving to safety, because if you can do something here which can help you win material. But this is not the topic right now. What happens is, after this, that white had made a big blunder. He thought, okay, this rook is under threat, so I can just take here, and then after he takes, I'll just take his own queen. I want you to answer why precisely this is a blunder, despite what I've just said. And again, use the 3-thought process. What is under threat? What can be captured? And is my king safe? So hopefully you've done this. You've asked yourself what is under threat and what can be captured, and is my king safe. So first of all, what can be captured? Of course, the queen can be captured. That's the idea. The idea that white had is you're gonna take here, and then black is gonna take you, and you're gonna take his own queen and end up actually winning material. Here's the thing. He thought what is under threat, and he didn't figure out that as black, and this is a game by 2 advanced players, this is not actually by beginners. What you can do as black is you can first of all threaten this rook, okay, and then take here, and you're actually winning up 2 points of material, a rook for a minor piece. He asked himself, is my king safe? Relatively yes, because I have a rook here that helps defend, I have a knight that helps defend, the king can always, if the queen wouldn't be here, he could castle, of course. And so is my king safe? Relatively yes, not the safest, but it's not gonna get mated immediately. That's so we have answered this. Now, what is under threat and what can be captured? Again, black here can capture here. He can take here, and then when you take, one way or another, I'm gonna take the queen on f6. And here we're ending up in a rook for a minor piece advantage. So you can take, but again, after this, you end up in a rook for a knight advantage. And so that is why a move like queen to f6 is a blunder. Again, you figure out this by doing the 3-question process. And what I'll say is, if you want to really practice it very, very well, take a piece of paper like this, a regular piece of paper, write it down. What is under threat? What can be captured? Is my king safe? Go now to play specifically against a bunch of bots in any platform that you'd like, and that is gonna help you recite this in your memory. And that's a very easy way to improve on this 3-question process. Now let's go back to the puzzle that we had in the beginning of the video. Let's now go back to the first master puzzle that we had in the video to answer the question, why is bishop here? Bishop from b7 to c6, the grandmaster game that we had at the beginning of the video, why is that a blunder? The reason that this is a blunder, you're asking yourself, what is under threat? And the only thing that comes to mind is this pawn. This can be captured. But the issue is that this is defended by the bishop. This is one thing that you're asking yourself, are the kings safe? Yes, they are very safe here and here. So there's no need to attend to that. The only thing that can be captured is this piece, is this pawn, if you find a way to move this bishop away. And so what happened is, in the game, white has done the move bishop to g5. And remember, you cannot move here, this pawn is pinned to the king. And so now now black was forced into trading, and not trading like bishop takes, but rather instead you're taking here the pawn, and then you're taking here with the knight. And that was very dangerous. He ended up winning this pawn, and in a GM game, being a 1.5 advantage is very, very dangerous. So now that you understand a little bit better the 3-question checklist, what I suggest that you do is specifically go to a website like chess.com, just wherever you study usually and play the games. Just play against a bunch of bots there. When reciting the 3-question process, it's going to be very easy then to actually go into real games and improve. Now you've now decreased the amount of blunders that you're making, so it's easier to go there and play. So let me just add in to this video also 2 tips that I have for you. So the first one is, of course, writing down, but also play games that are specifically longer. And the idea behind this is you could now calculate more when you're playing, like the moves that you've seen before, where some of them were more complicated than others. And so that is also helping for calculation. And so that is the tip. Play games that are longer, 20-30 minutes, if you're specifically trying to improve. The second tip that I have for you is specifically in the openings that you play. Don't play 4 or 5 openings, learning so many different ones. Learn 2 openings if you're a beginner. If you're intermediate, this is something else. But if you're a beginner, 1 opening for white and the second opening for black, learn the main lines of the opening, like the most common ones. And as black, learn the openings specifically for e4, because e4 is more common than d4 usually. And so the idea behind this is, again, you study this, and it's easier now to approach the opening. It's better to learn two openings than and be extremely good at them than to just try to study 4 or 5. From my experience, when I just started to play chess, it was a lot easier for me to just go on deep on 2 openings than to do on 4 or 5. So that is my second tip. And also, if you want to continue to learn more, specifically if you're a beginner that wants to bypass the 1000 ELO level, we have recently released a video on the channel about how to bridge the 1000 ELO. It's called Wanna Bridge 1000 ELO chess, and it's specifically for the beginners that are watching this, that wanna level up, specifically who are stuck at this ELO level. And so if you wanna continue to bypass this level, you could just go and watch the video where explaining in real deep the most important things to improve at that ELO level. If you want to just get more notifications related to this channel, you can also go subscribe. I'm looking also to expand this video to more people, so it's always helpful. Well, that's it for today's video. Leave your questions below, I'll answer them, and you can go and learn in the next video. Peace.